this begs the question, why not go back to the old-fashioned paper ballots? You know, you go in and you punch your ticket and, you know, that's what it is.
Well, I was seeing some reports a little earlier that St. Louis, some counties there were running out of the paper ballots. So that's what they say, you know.
That's what it was. Well, James O'Keefe showed, was it in North Carolina, they were throwing the ballots out because they had a record number of people who weren't voting. Then all you had to do was go dumpster diving and get your new ballot and say, hey, I'm James O'Keefe. I'm Attorney General Eric Holder. You know, you can go vote as pretty much anybody else that you wanted to.
Right.
All right, so let's see here. Now we have this article, massive non-citizen voting uncovered in Maryland. So, you know, that's what the people were talking about a lot. One of the big concerns was you can have non-citizens come in and vote, and that's exactly what seems to be the case in Maryland. And, you know, and if people want to come to this country legally, they get naturalized, and then they have the process to vote in a legal and lawful way, that's fine. But, you know, just to say, you know, I'm here, so I'm going to vote, you know, I don't understand that principle.
Right, and a lot of states will, their laws say that they have to count the election results as official before they can say, well, we want to recount. So obviously these places like Maryland and Virginia, where they're showing on video proof that they're not able to vote for their Republican candidate, you know, they're obviously going to be demanding a recount if it doesn't turn out the way, you know, the people there want. But here in Texas, we mentioned this earlier, they forgot to put Greg Abbott's name on the ballot.
Oh, they forgot. Yeah, they
it's
forgot.
not even there. But, you know, he still won, so.
Yeah, and that's the big thing we've been talking about, and I think we keep referencing the governor's race here in the state of Texas, where, you know, we have Greg Abbott, the Republican, versus the Democrat, Wendy Davis, and also Kathy Glass, the Libertarian candidate. I kind of mixed their names together there. And it's not a left to right, it's not a Republican-Democrat kind of deal, but, you know, that's just what it happened to be here in the state of Texas. I would definitely support a Libertarian candidate, you know, for anything if they were, you know, pro-family, pro-freedom, pro-guns, you know, all the things that I'm for. That's what I'm about, not so much as being a big part of the left-right paradigm.
Right, well, it's interesting to see, you can see there from that map, that they didn't have, you know, they really wanted to turn Texas blue, turn all these other states blue, but a lot of the states are red. So it backfired, all this voter fraud, Obama joking about being able to, you know, vote as much as you want, you know, every day of the week. Oh, you can only vote once, but you can go every day. Wink, wink. You know, so all of that they did still did not give them any kind of a win. I mean, they were really getting a bruising there. But what do you think about the fact that the racist and sexist GOP is they are making some pretty landmark elections here with women and black representatives?
Yeah,
what are they going to do? I mean, how can they call them racist and sexist?
Yeah, they always want to say they're racist. Like my home state of Oklahoma, we have Governor Mary Fallin, who was just reelected, you know, but they want to say it's all a sexist thing, it's all a racist thing. People of other nationalities being elected to these Republican offices as well. And like I said, it's not a Republican-Democrat thing, but they always want to tell you that everybody's racist or sexist. You're not racist or sexist if you refuse to vote for somebody who doesn't have your best interest at heart, somebody who wants to take away your right to defend yourself, somebody who wants abortions. We see it not dumb enough to fall for it anymore. That's pretty much it. Yeah, you're not a racist, you're not a sexist, even though they want to lock you into that mind frame of thinking. And let's move on here to some other articles. And we see non-citizens are voting. Once again, that's reestablishing what we were talking about earlier, talking about one James O'Keefe. And I think we do have a special report from Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs he's filed talking about the highlights of James O'Keefe. This guy, I think my first interview with O'Keefe was about when he was doing some voter fraud, not here in Battleground, Texas. It was before that. I've had a chance to talk with James O'Keefe many times about many different topics. And, you know, he's a very interesting guy. He goes out there on the front lines. We're talking about Project Acorn, that's what it was. And this was, you know, his things are so simple, but they're so over the top and it's somewhat ridiculous. You don't think that people are going to fall for it. You know, I think the first time I was talking to him, he dressed up as a pimp. You know, went to like a costume shop. You know, I had a big fake fur coat on and a pimping cane, and you know, he strolls in there with his, you know, prostitute girlfriend or whoever she was supposed to be. He says, "Hey, you know, I want to pimp some school-age children out of my Section 8 housing facility." And they say, "That's fine. Just make sure the kids go to school." So that's kind of the things that happen, and the things that he exposes. You know, of course, in crossing the border dresses Osama bin Laden, how easy it would be to bring Ebola into this country, many other things as well. But if we have that video, let's go ahead and look at the best of James O'Keefe.
And because early voting runs through this Friday, you don't have to wait till Election Day. You can vote all week.
I'm not Barack Obama. I disagree with him on guns, coal, and the EPA.
But then I see the ads where Allison's up there talking about how she supports the coal industry, and then I just start thinking to myself,
she has to say that, because in Kentucky, if you don't support the coal industry, you're dead,
right,
politically. And I know that that's true, and I know that's why she has to say that. But when politics is a game, you do what you have to do to get to point B. And then you do, it's a lying game, unfortunately.
So she's saying something positive about coal because she wants to be elected.
If we can get her elected, do you think she's going to do the right thing and she's going to try to wipe out that coal industry and go for better resources?
I absolutely think she is.
And the reality is, the truth is, Obama's regulatory policies have had the impact of totally restricting what coal can do. And he's basically shut down all the really terrible environmental practices. So between the market forces and what he's already done, this is not, it's not like a big, hook hanging over our heads, because it's already going in the right direction. And she's just got to do what she's got to do to get elected.
I have a little secret too. Okay. I hope you help me out. I actually, I have a license. Right. I'm registered to vote. Okay. But I'm not legal. Oh. I'm here and undocumented. Okay. But I can vote. Yeah, you can vote.
The story was simple. Our investigator posed as a Brazilian-born immigrant who wanted to vote but wasn't a U.S. citizen. Here, she and her partner are talking with Greg Amick, the campaign manager for Democrat Erwin Carmichael, who, believe it or not, is running for sheriff of Mecklenburg County, North Carolina.
Do you want to tell him your situation?
Yeah, so, I do have my license, but I'm not legal. Okay. And I want to vote. Okay. But I do have my license. I'm registered.
You are registered?
I'm not registered.
You do not need a photo ID. When did you register?
I don't have my green card, so I don't know if that's...
You are registered to vote, though?
I'm not registered to vote, yeah.
Have you voted before?
No.
You've never voted before in Mecklenburg County?
What happens is the state gave a bunch of illegals, when they gave them their license with the DACA card for the DREAM Act, a lot of them inadvertently got their voter registration card as well.
Okay.
Earlier this month, voter rolls in North Carolina were shown to include a large number of immigrants who had been registered to vote but shouldn't have because they weren't U.S. citizens.
So technically they're not legal, but she really wants to be able to support pay.
You do not have to have your driver's license, but do you have any sort of an identification?
No, I do have my driver's license.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do.
Don't show them that and you're good.
But the only problem is, I don't want to vote if I'm not legal. I think that's going to be a problem. I'm not sure.
It won't be. It shouldn't be an issue at all.
No, I have my license, I'm registered to vote, but I'm undocumented. I'm illegal. But I want to vote. I want to support Kay Reagan. That's what I'm here.
You already registered?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what, I go in there and vote, and whatever address you use before you use it, I go in there and vote, and let them find out if it's wrong.
And because early voting runs through this Friday, you don't have to wait till Election Day.
Vote as much as you want.
You can vote all week.
All week.
Yeah, vote early, vote often. There's the president for knowing about the election fraud, and he even referenced the city of Chicago,
right.
The city that he likes to call home. Now, Leanne, we were talking during that video piece about that video that premiered the Democratic. They said it was nonpartisan, but it is a bunch of Democratic people talking about Democratic things like locking down guns. You saw the picture of the lockdown gun. And of course, it's the Turnout for What campaign. We see stars of the industry, entertainment industry, Little John from Little John, the East Side Boys. What was the young lady's name?
Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham and all the rest of them. And the thing about it was just talking about this particular piece, this one piece just showed you how I guess maybe how desperate, people are to get these particular measures legalized. Now, Little John was talking about the legalization of marijuana, something I'm not against. I'm not a marijuana advocate, but I don't like people being given, prison sentences, for smoking a little bit of weed. Same thing, I wouldn't try to outlaw the use of alcohol, even though I don't drink. But, thinking about this, and I know you guys talked about this the other day, the absurdity of some of these campaigns, what is it, how does it affect you, or what are your thoughts? What is your thought process when you see these kind of just outrageous things that they're willing to go to just to get a vote?
Well, that's the thing that I find so infuriating. I mentioned it earlier about just telling, even Lena Dunham is telling women to go out there and vote based on, their sexual reproductive organs, and that's it. And I think it's just that is how stupid they think people are. That they don't think that you're going to worry about how you're going to feed your kids, or if you're going to have a job next year because it's being given, to illegal aliens that are getting these 34 million ID cards that they're waiting to roll out. How are you going to feed your family, and are you going to be feeding your family GMOs that are wrecking them down to third generation in their DNA? So I mean, there's just so much more that we should be worried about and that we should be focused on, but they want everyone to just fight amongst themselves and worry about, who's gay and who's not. And, there's more going on in the world. And I actually makes me very angry when I see these ads, or even like the creepy Mitch McConnell ad where he's like,
although he's just looking around.
Yeah, it does not make me want to vote for him, but it does make me laugh.
Yeah, so, I was just thinking about that, about the bipartisan support, because a lot of people ask, does it really matter what type of person I vote for, whether they be, a third party or, the two main parties, whatever else. So, does it make a difference, Leanne? If you vote for these mainstream candidates, of course, there are different people in different aspects, not just your big races, but your smaller city, county races. Does it matter? Is there a difference between these candidates?
Well, I mean, obviously on the local, smaller level, I think, like we've got Mike Cargill, we know him. Mm-hmm. We know what he stands for. So there we can see, but as you get up in the hierarchy, I mean, power corrupts. And they're all the same. They all want to spend money. They just want to spend money on different things. They all want that mass surveillance state. They voted unanimously. I think there was one vote against for the Patriot Act in the Bush administration. So they're all the same. They got the TSA. What the TSA has caught 0 terrorists, right? But they're sticking their hands down our pants, and also there's like 400 plus TSA agents that have. They've been convicted of pedophilia and crime and stealing people's things and then selling them on eBay before they even get off their shift. But these are the people that are going to help stop the war on terror. Of course, now we're talking about this perpetual war, and Obama is just the puppet that's set up to put all of these things in place. Everyone's blaming everything on Obama, but he's doing a really good job at what he was put in there to do. Council on Foreign Relations, globalists, they want all of these things to be put in place. And so he's just kind of, moving the pieces on the chessboard. So then it's the next person that's going to come in is going to move him a little further. So he's actually doing a really good job.
Yeah, that's right, because we think about like Bush. Let's talk about Bush and Obama. They're both, war hawks. They both, they have Guantanamo Bay, they have surveillance. You got the Patriot Act, you got the NDAA. Obama said he would not re-sign the Patriot Act. Of course, he did that thing. So, you have to be careful. It's not what they say, it's what they're willing to do. So you have to pay very close attention to what your people are doing who are in office. So anyway, I believe we do have David Knight ready to go in the other studio. David, are you out there?
Uh-oh.
I think we have a bit of technical difficulty
there.
All right. Can you hear me now?
We can't.
I can.
We might need a refresh. Did we, I wanted to play that clip. I think it's just like a 1-minute clip of James Hagel basically saying that we are preparing for a new world order. He was questioned on all this ongoing global chaos. Of course, we know that after the election, we're going to see just how chaotic everything is going to be. But here we have James Hagel basically saying, yeah, I think that this chaos is bringing us into a new world order. So it's just like Captain America. Mm-hmm. That's what they said. We're going to create all this chaos.
Yeah, you have to destroy the world in order to build a new one.
And have people beg you. So can we?
All right, let's go ahead and throw it to that clip.
Oh, all
okay,
right.
we're having some technical
Never mind. Well, basically he says, what we're seeing in the Middle East with ISIL is going to require a steady, long-term